Hi, my name is Melanie Rose. I am one of the founding practitioners with Evolve Me. And hello and welcome to the Evolving View little chat. And what I'd like to do is just start and introduce our practitioners that are here with us. Um, oh, there she is, Annette. Annette Green, we have. She is a holistic health consultant and spiritual facilitator. Lori Sheffer. She's an Andean shamanic practitioner, psychic medium, and vocal sound channeler. Lori Albert, we're calling LA, just to keep the Loris not confused. Lori Albert is a spiritual luminary and medium whose goal is to find the spiritual spark within you and to nurture the flame.
Theon, can you hear me?
Yes.
Derek McBride is a spiritual channel and an energy worker. And Theon Paulino Filippelli is a medium, an intuitive development instructor, and she is the founder of the community. So what I would like to do is just start with, we're going to hear a little bit about each of the practitioners, but I want Theon to tell you a little bit about how...
Well, if anybody can hear me, somebody that I...
Yep, we can hear you.
We can hear you, Annette.
You're good, Annette. Theon, can you tell us a little bit about what made you pull together Evolve Me? Like, why did you create this community?
Well, just for the sheer need of having a community that I felt was supportive and you know what, something that us practitioners really need. I found that there was really nothing out there like that. And you know, and it's a shame because we really do need to support each other, right? And it's been it's just been a wonderful experience, just getting everybody together and just seeing how wonderful people can be. You know, my thought coming into it was, how am I going to get all these personalities, all these big energies together and make it work? And you know, just had the best of luck with finding all of you, and you know, you guys have made this community what it is. So, yeah.
Thank you. I'm really grateful that you did it, because this is, for me personally, it's given me a way to like connect with other practitioners and an avenue to really get myself moving with my spiritual journey.
Yeah.
What I also was thinking is maybe we could each go around and just talk about what we do.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe about a little bit
Do you
about...
want to start again?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I go, me? Where do I begin? Okay, so are we talking about how we kind of got here and where we are now?
Yeah. Like how did you get to where you are now on your spiritual journey? Like, what made you decide to like really get going in the direction that you went in spiritually?
Yeah, well, so
not just Evolve Me, like you personally.
Spiritual, okay. So I have actually been I've been open all of my life, and but because of my Catholic upbringing, I kind of pushed that away. You know, I it wasn't until I had my son about 14 years ago, who had the same abilities as I had. Did I really...
Can you hear me now, Lori?
Yeah, we can hear you. Where I can
hear you.
Where I really felt like I was...
Lori Sheffer, can you hear me?
Oh,
Oh.
Excuse us,
yeah, we hear
everybody.
you.
Annette, we hear you, Annette.
Oh, Annette. I can't get her pin, but where was
see,
it?
Lori Sheffer and Derek, but I can't hear anybody.
Oh, Derek, will you tell Annette we can hear her?
Yeah, we hear you just fine. Can't see you, but we can hear you.
Radio is on.
I swear it's not you, Annette. It's the Mercury retrograde. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And that we can hear you. We don't have your video on, but
Yeah.
I think for now we're gonna have to call it good, I guess.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
No.
I don't know that she hears you.
Oh.
Yeah. And there's.
Oh, Lori's calling her on the phone. That's great. You guys, this is going to be
Whatever
so
works.
fun.
It's awesome. That's
This
awesome.
is perfect. I love it.
We are so
Teamwork
real
makes the
life
dream
right
work. I
now.
like it.
I
I
know.
dig it.
Yes.
Oh God.
People were expecting us to wear turbans and crystal balls in our hands. But no, we're definitely not.
Hey, hello, Jonathan from New York
Hi,
on YouTube.
Jonathan.
I
Yay.
see you.
How
Hello,
are
all.
you?
Thanks for putting up with us, Jonathan.
Yeah, you're gonna have to give us a second. So, Theon, your 14-year-old son had.
Oh yeah.
Gifts
So
and-
he had the same abilities. He was born with the same abilities, and I just knew that I had to nurture him and not deny him like I did myself. And
Yeah.
it was really that kind of brought me to really wanting to connect more with my spirituality and my abilities. I'm a medium and an intuitive development coach, as well as a remote viewer, healer. I know it's a lot of things that that we all do, that if we just kind of listed all the things that we're really excited about and what we've practiced is it sounds like a lot, but no, it's all it wasn't until I realized that this is what I wanted to do that it felt like I found my purpose. And at the time I was running a technology and security business and was very much in the physical world. And I especially because I was Catholic, I really didn't feel that I didn't necessarily believe in my abilities, even though,
I mean, it's hard. When
yeah,
you don't have that
I would
support.
see my grandfather, who died 2 years before I was born, all the time as a kid, and I thought that was normal, and I didn't put it together that until later on I would fight
was
with my
the same
mother.
way.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
get it.
yeah. It was, but it tells you how much conditioning does to people, where you think, okay, that's just not something you can do. But what I come to realize is that we all have these abilities. We all have that ability to connect intuitively, and it's really just a part of our evolution. So, yeah, that's my story.
Great. Who would like to go next? How about you, Lori? Lori Albert, LA. LA, out in LA.
So we've got two Loris. So we're going to go LA and LS. I love it.
Exactly. And Lori, I just want to say happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's
Yesterday
right.
was
Happy
my birthday.
birthday.
But guess what? It was also my 31st wedding anniversary. So it was like
that's right.
celebrate
Double
all
whammy.
weekend long. It was anyway, I'm so thankful for this community. You guys, this has been so far. And we're just getting started. Like Evolve Me is just in its infancy, and we've already created some amazing friendships and lasting friendships that are going to be lifelong. So I just wanted to say that I'm super excited about this. But how I got started was crazy. Years and years ago, I got a flyer. Actually, I had weird stuff happening my whole life, but I didn't understand it. I was raised Catholic, and you just kind of push that stuff aside, And I got, yeah, right. I got a notification from my my college, where I went to college, and I found out that my ex-boyfriend died. Right, and all of a sudden, like I swear to God. All of a sudden, when I read it, I was like, and the tears started flowing. And all of a sudden, I knew he was standing right next to me. Like, I have chills thinking about it because I remember it like it was yesterday. So then I decided I was going to well, that's not real. That can't be right. Right. And I was like, fine. So if that's you, I have to go to the store. So what's going to happen is, okay, so if this is really you, by the time I get to my store, like it was 2 miles away, I made up 3 things. One was a lady walking her golden retriever. And I was like, oh, wait, that's too easy because I live in suburbia. That's going to be fine. And I was like, okay, so fine, there's that. Then the next thing was, you know what? If I see an orange Corvette driving down the street, I'll know it's you. Right?
No way.
So I get in the car and I'm just like, oh, walking along or driving along and everything. And I see this lady walking her dog. And I'm like, ew. Like, oh, is that real? And then sure enough, you're not going to believe it. An orange Corvette driving right by me. And I stopped the car and went, hi, how are you? Like he's sitting right there in the car next to me.
Oh my
It was
God.
so hilarious. But that's kind of how my whole thing has been, right? And so since then, I've really developed a whole thing. Like spirit just keeps giving me more and more and more to do. I'm a spiritual medium. I call myself a spiritual luminary because I love the idea of finding the light within you and then helping you grow that light, So, I mean, I'm a manifestation author, a spiritual medium, an intuitive educator, all of that kind of stuff that we all kind of are, but it's so much fun. So I'm super excited to be part of this group of amazing human beings and intuitive. So that's my story.
That's amazing. And like that, I always tell people like ask for what you want.
Yeah.
And it's crazy when you get it because you're like, now what do I do?
Exactly.
Derek, tell us about you.
Oh, wow.
Did you get to where
I guess
you
kind
are?
of,
Did you find your way here?
oh, you're freezing.
Oh, you
Oh no, Mike, we can hear you.
We'll give him a second.
Oh, bro. Oh,
Oh, there he is.
my spiritual journey. Okay. My spiritual journey, I had some weird things happen throughout my life. Almost every house me and the families lived at have been like haunted and had spirits in it. But it really started kicking off like 6 years ago. When I got the job where I'm at now. I'm out in nature all the time by myself in the woods, in the mountains where I can be me and me alone to be in the thoughts, being with nature, and things really started kicking off, really started connecting with the earth. Had a couple energy sessions with a guy and started really hearing spirit, connecting. And I took my first class, actually with Theon at the International School of Clairvoyance. And because I just had that urge, had that calling that so many of us get to where there's something more you got to be doing. There's something more. Spirit kept on saying, wake up. It's time to wake up. You got to do something. And started diving into everything spirituality, everything, law of attraction, everything manifestation, vibration, quantum physics, shamanism, anything I could get my hands on that could explain, what it was experiencing, what it was feeling, the messages, the feelings. And like I say, taking that class, the clairvoyance course, the mediumship courses, and that really sent it into overdrive and connecting. When Theon hit me up about the Evolve Me site, oh my gosh, things are just exploding. Spirits coming in all the time now. It's like, it's beautiful. And to be part of a community like this where you have so many people like-minded, like energy, not just like-minded, but same energy of healing life, healing frequencies, wanting to expand and help others expand and grow and lift the consciousness of everybody. It's not just beautiful. I mean, there's truly no human words that can express the gratitude and the feeling you feel when you get into a group like that and you feel the energies of everybody else that are so authentic and so real and so like non-judging, trying trying to top you or be better than you in any way. It's just supportive in every possible way. And it's just, for me, it's brought my truth out. And that's kind of like you, Lori. Like, I see part of my mission is bringing that out in other people, bringing that light out in others, bringing their truth. Because, you know, you get these sessions with people and spirit comes in and they show you a vision of their higher self. And it's like, damn, you were so vast. You were so amazing. You were so bright and beautiful. And it's like, I just want everybody to see what they truly are, feel what they truly are, experience what they truly are. And anybody out there watching this, the Evolve Me site and the practitioners can help you do that, because it's just beautiful souls trying to help other beautiful souls. So,
that's amazing.
I know. Could you imagine
I don't know.
our community without Derek? So I'm just so.
Without any of you, man.
What?
Without any of us, man. That's what makes it so perfect. You know, everybody here is just meshes so beautifully. It's like the perfect puzzle, the perfect weave, the perfect tapestry.
Yeah,
I love it. And I love that.
Do you know why? It's and you would think, and just like I was fearing, I was like, okay, you know, how are we going to get people together like this? Because there's a lot of ego and, you know, a lot of that guru syndrome involved. But you know, just the every single one of you in the community are kind, here to serve, and are always open to collaborate and to be a part of something. And you know, like I said, I couldn't have been more thankful to meet and to be a part of this with all of you. So
that's so nice. Hey, Derek, I have to tell you that Jonathan on YouTube said it's awesome to witness divine open masculine energy in this kind of spiritual form. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And hi, Ben from YouTube. Guys, got to watch those chats. I am.
Can't see them.
You can't? Okay. I'll
no.
I can see
I think
so I'm not trying to be rude.
How about you, Lori?
Well, hello, everybody. I want to send out this huge vibrational hug to anyone that's watching. And the fact that I like am so into the love and the hugs is pretty funny, because I was born and raised in Muskegon, Michigan, you know, by folks that really weren't huggers. And but I went to Girl Scout camp, and then the hugging thing began for me. You know, everybody hugs at Girl Scout camp. But anyway, I was born into a family that was very gifted, but didn't really like to deal with it and shut it down. I mean, my grandfather used to have visions, you know, like his mom much, but his mom used to show up at the end of his bed all the time in his dreams. And so, you know, since he didn't have a relationship with his mom that was a good one, he didn't really want those dreams. And she would bring things to him. And my great grandmother on my mom's mother's side could read tea leaves, and she could read palms.
So
but that is cool, except that for my mother, foretold a couple of things that weren't good things that actually came true. So it freaked my mom out. And so my mom was like, oh, we don't do that. We don't do those things. You know, my children, don't you touch a Ouija board, she would say, or anything like that. So we were gifted, but, you know, and everybody has the potential. Everybody has it. And let me say that. But it wasn't okay. It wasn't something that we talked about. So therefore, you know, as a kid, when I had my friends, when I would have my intuition, I would know things before they happened. I couldn't really talk about it with anyone. And I think that's true for a lot of us. You know, you begin to think like, ooh, this isn't such a good thing. And I had like all these near-death experiences where I would then, you know, visions and different things, see, you know, my life, you know, where they say you see your future and all these different things. So I began to shut that down. I said, no, I'm not going to do this. And then when I was in my late 20s, I worked in HIV/AIDS, and I worked with people were dying, and in Yonkers, New York. And anyway, I helped people to cross over. And the first time, one of the early times, is I'm sitting with this beautiful, she was more than a client. She was just, she was like an aunt to me. And she was, in the dying process. And I could feel her going. And I literally could feel her energy. And I had no terms for it. I didn't understand it. But I could feel her energy getting to the door. It was like there was a door, a gate. And I could feel her. I was with her. My energy was moving with her. And, she had no one, because she had, lived a rough life. And so she felt so alone. And I just felt like so much love between us. And then there was a point where I couldn't go anymore. And she crossed over. And at first I was like, because I left the hospital when she was crossing, but I didn't know. I'm like, goodbye, Flo. I love you. And I get home and I get a phone call. She had died like moments after I left the hospital.
Wow.
And I sat there and I didn't know what to do with it. Because back then, that was like maybe 1990. Who talked about those things?
Yeah.
No one talked about those things. Then I started, because I worked in AIDS, we used to have all these I live in New York, so I went to Omega, and I had the opportunity to meet Ram Dass, and I had the opportunity to meet Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. And I would, they would say these things about death and dying. They would talk about all these amazing things. And I was a kid of 27, 28. And I was going, these things are really weird. The idea that I was alive before and I chose to live in this life. What are they talking about? I have no clue. And, so it was like I arrived in something before I was ready for it. And then jump ahead. So, that sort of was, my life. And I began to see things. And I was like, no way. Nope, this isn't going to do. Everybody's Uncle Fred can just stay away. I'm not going to do that. And, so I was in my late 40s, and I was going through some tough times. My brother had passed away, and then things began to happen in the house. Oh my gosh. Wine glasses jumped off of the wine rack, and the TV turned on, like not once, but 3 times. And I would begin to shut the TV off because I knew it was my brother, because he was a jerk. Everybody's got one in their family, right? You guys know what I'm talking about.
He likes to mess with you.
Love to mess with me. And that was it. I had to start to deal with it. And so I ended up joining. First of all, I was in a lot of, I had lost a job, and I was going through a lot of stuff. Every issue, I swear, I ever had in my life, came up like this. And I was like, oh, poop, what do I do with this? And so I joined the shamanic group, and it was an Andean medicine circle, a spiral as our teacher called it. And it changed my life, absolutely changed my life. And it was based on the directions, the South, Sachamama, where you're dealing with the serpents and shedding skins. The West was Jaguar in facing your shadows. The North was your ancestors. And then the East was Eagle Condor soaring above your problems. And through that process, those 14 months, something happened to me very deep. And I began to really heal these ancient traumas. And with it, was able to accept the fact, what? This is part of your path. And so then I had no choice to become a medium. I had to go to school, and I studied mediumship and stuff. And from there, it was over. It was like my destiny was written, and I just had to accept it. And this is what I can say to everyone. We're given opportunities, and sometimes they're through pain and they're through sorrow. And it's best just to say yes, because otherwise is going to happen again. So just say yes and deal with it. That's what I've learned. But I love it. I absolutely love this work. I've always, I think deep in my soul, I love being a minister, and that's what I like to call it. I feel like I am a minister. I'm a shamanic practitioner, and I'm, all those things. I just love helping people. I love being with people in this work, and I also love being with people, and I love spirit.
Yeah, that is so great. I just love all those stories. And like, I think back when we were younger, I mean, don't you guys think we all kind of got it squashed?
Oh,
that
absolutely.
seems like a theme,
Yeah.
like
I think it's our age group, though. If you think about it, like the generation that is coming up, they're a lot more open, because people are a lot more understanding, and that conditioning that we all had through religion or whatever, really just a lot of it is fluid now. So people are a little bit more open than they were back when we were kids.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, and now my kids can be more open,
Oh yeah.
because I allow it, and I, like, help it flourish,
Yeah.
Let's hear your story, Melanie.
Yeah, I know.
What?
I want to.
Let's hear your story.
I am a psychic medium, and I also communicate with animals. And like Theon said, if you name all the things, like we like remote viewing, and like a little bit into sound healing and art healing, and all that kind of thing. So if you really went into it, it's just like you want to get into everything. But basically, I'm just a psychic medium, and I communicate with animals as well. I have been open all my life too. When I was 11 months old, my dad died, and I'm the youngest of 10, and I would always see my dad in the house. You know what I mean? And this is from when I was like 4 or 5, and it was kind of normal to me. But it was through a dream actually that he made me understand that nobody else could see him. But I kind of, like you, Theon, I didn't really know that there was anything wrong with that. I would hear things, I would see things. And I was just thinking recently, I think that's why I have such a good game face. Because when you hear stuff that other people don't really hear, you just sit like this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I
Or
have
if
full
you
conversations in my
on your
head.
arm, you're like, no big deal. There's nobody there.
Yeah.
Everything's fine.
No.
So
I'm making weird smirks and stuff for no reason.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I think, and I was raised in a Catholic family as well, and things, but I really didn't tell anybody anything. I just kept it all to myself, and it was just the inside. Woken up, and then I was like, oh no, I did something wrong. And a couple of times, very rarely, and I did when I was little. And I have once I did recently, which was very strange. But and I think in my 20s there was a furniture store looking at furniture, and there was building big fireplace, and I was standing there next to my husband, next to that fireplace, and he doesn't want us here.
Oh.
And my husband, my poor husband, looks, and he's like, honey, I don't see anybody. Man, he just is like, oh, okay. and kept looking at furniture. And I was like, and explained why we were there. But so things like that would go on, and I just got to the point where I was like, I have to. I can't remember the specific thing, but I was like, I have to figure this out.
Yeah.
Like I have to. Like this is not normal, and I can't walk around like this anymore. It was just to the point where it like I wasn't myself. I wasn't me. And now I started training, and I just started developing these gifts, and it's been like life changing. Like I feel like I'm who I'm supposed to be, and I feel like I'm my whole self, and that's really hard to explain, but I know you guys get it, and probably a lot of people watching. It just kind of it was like my spiritual coming out, like it was the hardest thing to say I'm a psychic medium, because that was weird.
Yeah.
Like I was like, but once I got to that point, it was like I was free. Now I feel free, and I'm myself, and I can say what I see, and I have a good enough reputation that people are like, okay.
And aren't we just so lucky to be that? I mean, I don't know about you guys, but in my practice, I come across so many people that just are like, they keep saying, I just want to find my purpose.
Yes.
And I just want to say to them, and I do say to them, just sit in meditation and it will come to you,
Yeah.
But I'm so lucky that I have found mine,
I totally agree.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I was, Melanie, listening to you, and I was thinking about how, we're starting a queer spiritual group on Evolve Me, and so I was doing all these promos, and the idea that it really, because a lot of us have traumas from religion and different things like that across the board, and as a gay person, feeling very scarred by those things, and feeling unloved, and literally being told by people, you're sinful, you're this, God doesn't love you, you're not going to get into heaven, and all of that, right? And it really was when I got involved in shamanism, and I really began to explore spirituality more, where I found love, real self-love. And that love was through my spiritual work, and my belief very much that, spiritual shamanism believes everything is energy. So the idea that, God is a part of me, and that, and so how can I not love myself if I love God? Right?
Exactly.
It's all a part of the same. And when that came to me, it actually came to me as I was about to do a reading on someone, and I started to doubt myself. I said, "Oh, you can't doubt yourself. The moment you doubt yourself, the reading's not going to be good, because they're coming in for you." And I said, "Oh, well." And I thought about that more, and I thought, well, poop. Then I can't doubt myself ever. Right?
Wait,
I have to.
Oh, I was just going to. Mediums don't say poop. But anyway.
What did I say?
No.
She's much more dainty than I am.
I know, right?
I think everybody knows that.
Oh, yeah. We would have to censor Melanie.
As a special ed teacher, I have the teacher language,
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
I write on the whiteboard and in a dry erase marker. Then the kids have something on me,
That's so funny.
Oh my gosh.
Actually,
Oh,
I think you're going to say the same thing I'm going to say
about Jonathan.
but I want to lead in with something.
Okay.
Yeah. Jonathan added a question, and I saw Theon going for it, but it actually goes along with a question that I had for everyone here. So we're all talking about like how we got here and things. And Jonathan's question is, do you all have supportive partners? How are they impacted by your abilities? And I think that's, why is everybody laughing?
Oh, we're just thinking about our spouses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great lead-in to the next thing. Like my question was, who was your biggest supporter, and did you have supporters, and was your spouse or your partner supportive?
Yeah.
I'll jump in.
Yeah, jump in.
Oh my God. So my husband, totally supportive, but he is not into this at all. He's like, he knows that I tell him to be quiet for whenever I'm doing something, but that's kind of how it is. And he never wanted a reading, it's never, just not interested in it. Right. I mean, I don't think it's fear related. It's just, he's totally supportive though, right? So one day I told him, I said, I really want you to come to see this really special medium. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Robert Brown. He's an English medium, and he's so fantastic, right? So I grab him and I drag him kicking and screaming to come down and everything. He's like, I do not want a reading. Do not let me get a reading. I'm like, Keith, there's going to be like 100 people there. You're not going to get a reading. Well, you know where that's going, right? So the guy standing up in front, he goes, that guy right there. And I went, oh, no. He goes, da-da-da, and he gives them this whole reading. And I said, and it was beautiful. It wasn't bad, and it wasn't, it wasn't weird or anything like that. But then, and finally it was over. And I just looked at him and I went, I'm so sorry. But it all ended up and it was fine. And, but he was like, wouldn't you know?
Probably
100 people there.
Was he like, wow? Like
yeah. Well, Robert Brown is actually quite known, and he's really good. Right. So he was like saying stuff that was like spot on. And I knew exactly who he was talking about. And my husband was sitting there like a deer in headlights, And I was like, yes, honey, that's right. Yes, that's right. It was so funny. Oh my gosh. But all that aside, that's just a funny story, but he's very supportive. And my daughter is intuitive as well. And so it's like and then my next door neighbor is a medium as well. So it's just kind of like, you got all of us here. You better appreciate it.
Yeah, you might as well get used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my story.
Before we go on, I just want to jump in and say that our other practitioner, Annette, she got bumped out and she can't get back in. So she says she's going to jump on the next one.
Oh,
Okay.
so sorry, Annette.
I know.
Sorry, Annette. Oh.
So anyway, who's next?
I can go because it sounds like Lori and I are married to the same person. Perhaps we are. No.
Just wait.
My husband, very much the same, is very supportive. And in fact, I can't believe he's supportive of me for building this community.
Amazing.
Right?
How could you not be?
Yeah, I was like, honey, I'm going to build a community, and we're business partners at the time. And I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna now start building this other app, and this is what I'm gonna do. And so he's extremely supportive. Had my son not been born, with like from the moment he could talk, would tell me about people that passed and talk about, like, it was insane. So he was forced to be a believer. And so as I'm developing mine, he's very supportive. Although he just now stopped calling me a mind reader. And I'm like, no, that's not what that is. He, I like to practice on him because he's so it doesn't want to like do too much or deal with it too much. I've taught him how to remote view or visualize energy, things like that. But he ends up falling asleep if I put him in meditation. So it's
so do I sometimes.
Yeah.
So do I.
Oh yeah. Right. And and that's what's really great though. I mean, my family still tries to wrap their brain around it. My siblings and my parents are pretty supportive, but I will have to say, if anybody, it would my husband is definitely my biggest fan when it comes to that. But yeah.
That's so cool.
I love that. Well, I'll go next. My husband is very scientific. He's a freaking genius. He knows everything about astronomy and like everything. It's not so like this type of thing. I just kind of laugh because he just goes with it, and I'm always like, how do you just go with it's just like the guy by the fireplace. Like I think back and I'm like, my God, I was doing it then, and I didn't even realize it.
Yeah.
And he just was like, oh, honey, I don't see a guy there, and walked off to look at furniture. I was like, but he so, but he's very supportive in, when I first started out, long story short, I was led to go to a class in the UK, under this certain tutor. And I went and I looked it up, and it was the only class that I could find with that tutor was in 2 weeks in the UK. And I called my husband at work and I was like, so I just talked to this person and the class is in 2 weeks. So I think I'm going to go to the UK in 2 weeks. He's like, for God's sake, honey, would you just go? You've been trying to figure out this stuff for so long.
Oh, I love that.
That is
So
cool. Oh
and
my
I was like,
gosh.
oh my God, okay, I'm going to go, so it's very supportive. And he doesn't quite get it, but like his mom, when I'm doing just music, I was tiling a floor. And all of a sudden his mom came through because I was overhearing him talk to his dad on the phone. And I just kind of told him, and he was like, wow, like he just takes it in. He doesn't quite understand. He understands how I explain it to him, but he knows that he doesn't quite. And I personally think he's very intuitive, and he probably has some great abilities that he just hasn't tapped into, just like everyone. But he just always has been very supportive. I have a couple of siblings that are very supportive, and some that I haven't even talked to about it. I don't even know if they know. I don't know if they care. And because I don't really talk to all my siblings. I told you I was the youngest of 10, so I don't really see all of them a lot or talk to all of them a lot. So I don't know if they would really, I don't know what they would think, I guess. And then I have some really supportive girlfriends who I could not live without, So
Yep, me
got a
too.
couple of sisters, got some girlfriends. So yeah, I have like my select few, and they fuel me. So, and I think that's part of the deal. You find the people that support you, and you work off of their energy with yours, and then you find a community like Evolve Me, and then you get going. So
Shameless plug.
yes.
Yep.
That's what's so great. I mean,
Yeah.
it is a shameless plug, but you know what?
It's
Spirit
true.
brought us all together for
Yeah.
a reason,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I just think it's great.
Absolutely.
So,
I know.
how about you guys, Derek and Lori?
Derek, go ahead.
Yeah, my wife is extremely supportive. Kind of funny. We're a lot like complete opposites in a lot of way. She has her master's degree in psychology, so she's very analytical. And when I told her I wanted, I was getting into this stuff, and she was like, do what you got to do to make yourself happy. Probably kind of thought it was like a passing phase, because the way I am now is like completely different person from the way I was. So she was like, yeah, okay, whatever. You'll go back in a week. But it's extremely supportive. The deeper I go, the more intuitive and she's becoming too. And the more she takes some of the stuff I'm showing her, and she's gotten on the Evolve Me side, and she takes that in with some of her clients too. So it's really beautiful the way she's combining a lot of the stuff she's learned in psychology with the energy work and the spirituality and connecting. It's beautiful. I'm blessed, and we look at it sometimes like, I don't know how we're together because we're so damn different, but it just fits perfect. It's funny, we laugh about it, but no, she's very supportive. My mom, my she's very intuitive. My grandparents were very intuitive. My aunt is very intuitive. I mean, yeah, I have a lot of support. All my friends really weren't, because they're, just like from my past and like a different lifestyle. But all my family, they supported 100%. And of course, all my Evolve Me family. I mean, shit, what else can I ask for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I just want to add that even his aunt is also a practitioner on this site. So he's got a very supportive family.
That's very cool.
Very nice.
How
It's
cool is
so
that? I didn't know that.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
great.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That is
Sharon
really
McBride.
awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Blessed, very blessed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just so bummed, Derek, that you're on the other side of the country from me, because I always thought it would be fun, to get a fire ceremony going. I could see
I
Derek.
would love that.
That's
knew
why
that. I
would
you guys
love
should
that.
come to the retreat.
I know.
I know.
Yeah. Derek was the first one I did a trade with, and I immediately was like, oh, this guy, his energy, and yeah, it's been special. Well, for me, I'm really blessed because and I do feel Evolve Me is really special. So it's interesting, when I first started my shamanic circle, it was a medicine, we called it Medicine Spiral, with these amazing, people. I don't know if it was, I think it ended up being maybe 18 or 20 of us through the months, and with our teacher. And they were so tight that we've been working together almost a year when the law changed here in New York for us to get married. And so I asked my shamanic practitioner, Eileen O'Hare, to be our, she did the service, and all of the members of our spiral actually were part of the wedding. They did different things. They did prayer bread for us, and all these, we had a fire ceremony and all this stuff. And they were, so just loving and supportive. And so when my gifts were opening up and I was seeing things, I mean, one time I was at something and I channeled in White Buffalo Calf Woman, and it was like, I didn't even know what was going on. I mean, I went into, trance, and like we were in there all together, shaking our rattles, and it was, like, I'd never done anything like that in my life. And my best friend, my spiritual brother, he, who I think is on and asking the questions, by the way, Jonathan. And so, but anyway, he was like, he says he can't be around me when I really get in that place when I channel sound, because he says it's just too much, it knocks him out. But so I had these amazing spiritual people who just so filled with love and so supportive, and they were pushing me. My teacher Eileen pushed me to take classes. But the funny part was, Daria wanted nothing to do with any of the shaman stuff at first. She's like, you keep them over there. You keep them over there. They're too woo-woo for me, but when we got, someone gave us all those helium balloons for signing of our license, to get the license, right? After we got married, those balloons started to follow us around the house. I kid you not. They had been up for like a month in our dining room, and one by one they came down, and we have video of them following us around the house. And Terry shifted. She's like, do you think that's my mom? I think that's my mom. Can you smell her? Because the perfume. She's like, do you smell her perfume? One by one, these balloons, and they would freak us out. They would follow us up the stairs. They would hover over our bed, and crazy stuff. And I had no choice but to accept it and to really begin to go, okay, this is real. And she's been amazing. By my spiritual family, and I mean, she's just been, Daria's been amazing with that. So amazing that when I said to her a couple of years ago, I said, Spirit's telling me I'm supposed to quit my job in a couple of years, and I'm supposed to go full time and do this work. She just looked at me, she says, well, if that's what Spirit says, then okay, and I was like, really? Then I freak. But yeah, I feel so lucky. And I do want to say about Evolve Me that you guys, Evolve Me came into my life at such a beautiful time, because my second brother was passing away, and I actually didn't join Evolve Me, I think, until like August. And I couldn't really do anything because I was in Georgia taking care of my brother, and who also was very gifted. And it was just so beautiful because it was just a natural, like, falling right in with the community. And you guys, Evolve Me has been wonderful, and the love and the radiance that flows from that has been supportive of me. So I'm really lucky. I have 2 communities that are very supportive. So that's cool.
It's very cool. We
Yay, Annette's here.
Annette made it back. Yes. Annette, can you unmute yourself? We have questions.
Yeah. We have lots of questions for you, Annette.
Yeah. Can you unmute, Annette? Can you click unmute? You're muted. Yeah, girl.
Not yet.
Bottom left corner.
Oh,
You're still muted.
still muted? On the mute button?
I will say you look divine.
I know. And you look so cute.
She looks beautiful.
For somebody
Always.
that can't speak with us.
On the bottom left, you can't, the mute, can you press that? Click it?
Oh, I wonder if she's on
Oh,
her
she
cell
did.
phone.
Oh, cell phone.
Oh, she's on her cell phone. I don't know how to
Probably
do
in a
that.
different place if you're on your cell phone.
Darn it! Curses.
I
Now
know.
you're just torturing us because we watch you and we want you to talk.
Aw.
That's okay. She's still on. I don't know. You'll have to maybe try to figure that out on your phone. I'm not sure.
Yeah. But you make us all look good. So
I know.
Yeah.
You fill up all of our boxes. So
that's so funny.
and at
Oh
the
my
end of this,
God.
we all have to do sort of like a Brady Bunch thing where we're staring like this and going,
That is so funny. Oh my gosh. But you know what is so cool is that I can't believe that I haven't seen anything like this before. I mean,
No.
the Evolving View is going to be like, we're going to talk about everything spiritual.
Oh,
Right. I
And
agree.
we're going to no subject is off the table. And I don't think I've seen anything like that.
Right.
So,
But you know
this
what's
is
amazing?
like going to be extraordinary.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what's amazing is this is like our regular conversations that we have all the time.
Yes.
And so we're like, well, why don't we just bring them out? Because they're hilarious, and 2, they're very if I were somebody coming out into spirituality, I would love to hear. It's like opening up the hood and getting to really understand spirituality for what it is, or intuitive development, things like that, because that's like something that we never got taught. We had to struggle to find a lot of this information, and and the great thing about these practitioners is that we are all eager to push it, pass it forward to other people, because we know the struggle. And so that's the beauty of what I feel from you guys, is because you are of service and you truly want to help people. Speaking of help people, we had a couple questions in there. There was one from Julie Starr, and I love this one. What is your most memorable psychic or supernatural experience? Did you tell anyone about it? Ooh, I have some good ones.
I'll
Tell us.
I'll start. I'm just going to tell a funny one.
Yeah.
And that was when I first realized I was coming into this, but didn't want to accept it. I'm driving down that back road to go home, a road I'm on all the time. And I took a wrong turn. And I'm in the middle of some like country road I don't even know. And I pull into a driveway, I turn around, and I get out of the driveway, and I look in my rearview mirror, and there's a lady sitting in my back seat. And I go, oh! And then I go, you need to go.
You need to go. They're like, okay.
But that's freaked me out. And so I say to everybody, if you see someone you don't want to see, you need to go right now.
And they're usually pretty good about leaving, right?
Yeah.
You know what? That's actually really an important point.
It
you
is a
know,
really,
for the
I was just gonna
listeners
say,
that don't know any much about this and they've had maybe experiences, we have control.
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
You
people
know,
get
if
absolutely.
somebody's
really
coming in and
scared,
it's
like
the
they
wrong
think they
time.
don't.
Right.
I
What's that?
agree. I said people get really scared and they think that they don't, where it's like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I love that because like we can empower people and say like,
Yeah.
you do have
Yeah.
control.
We are the powerful ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Right.
do. I mean, I got home and had to check my pants. I mean, I was just. You
I
do.
feel you, sister. I know. No, but you know, and that's the thing is, you know, you see all these like ghost hunting shows, and that's why I hate calling it ghost hunting. In fact, we're going to Nevada soon, and we're going to be, what do I call it? Spirit admiring soon.
Yeah.
And that
I
is
love that.
right. but it's you know, think about this. When you pass, you don't become some dark energy that tries to scare people all the time. You know, people pass away and their energy stays around. And you know, for the most part, when you see these ghost hunting shows, they're always like, and they were, you know, being haunted, and they had to leave their house, and all of these things. That doesn't typically happen. You know, it's not. That's not how it always goes. You know, and for the for the majority of the part, you know, it's definitely not like that. And in fact, I even have the equipment, so I'm really into it. So, and that's part of my story is, in my experience, actually this was. I have a few actually, but I want to tell one of the most recent. My husband and I, we went to St. Augustine, and I just love going to the old jail there. So they do this. You know, paranormal tour at like midnight. And so they give you all the equipment and everything. So we went there originally with my two boys. And the first time I went there, we were walking around the jail, and I heard, "Hey," you know, in my head, but also it came out into the recorder, or whatever it's called. And so I was like, "Oh, hi," and the voice was like, "Help me." And I go, "Okay, what do you want me to do? How, you know, what can I do?" And of course, being a medium, I'm like, "Do you?" And I go into a corner. I go, "Do you want me to help you pass it over?"
Oh my God.
And he goes, "No," and he said no, and was really sweet and all of that. Right. This is the first time with the kids. Then I went again just recently, like a couple months ago, with my husband, and we were on the tour again. I went to that same corner, and he goes, "Hey," and I go, "Hi," and he goes, "This is Joe," and I go, "Do you remember me?" And as I'm talking, which is really strange because it was like validation that my husband was, you know, hearing this too, is he would like you could hear it from the whatever you call it. I'll get it.
The recorder.
Yeah, it's not a recorder. It's a spirit box, and
Okay.
yeah, and so I was like, "Are you the spirit that I spoke with last time?" He goes, "Yes," and I go, "So what's your name?" And so he started having a conversation with me, and ended up walking me around like basically being my spirit tour guide around the place. It was incredible, and so there's parts like where the jail cells are. And you know, we had a guide, but you know, she was kind of walk around talking, and I was like, "Oh, I was gonna walk into a cell." He goes, "Don't go in there." And as soon as he said that, the lady goes, "Oh yeah, that guy in that cell doesn't like women, so he pushes them out." And so like he was like, "Yeah," and he was telling me not to go in there. Yeah, and then I even have stuff on it, and I go, "Okay, so what, you know, why are you here?" Because if you hear the history of the old jail in St. Augustine, it's the saddest story, and that's a whole nother story. And so he basically told me his name was Joe, and he was there. He goes for no good reason, and I go, "So is there anything here that would let me see who you are?" And he guides me to where Sheriff Joe, which is not him, his office. And I was like, "You're not Sheriff Joe." And he goes, "No." And he pointed me to this like, you know, board of all these wanted signs. And it was this, sure enough, it was this guy, Joe. And he was like he smuggled in Prohibition. and that's
Oh
why
my
he was
God.
in jail. And the kindest, kindest, sweetest spirit. And I mean, he was making jokes. My husband was hearing it, and he kept saying, "Tell your husband to leave." And a little
That's
flirtatious.
funny. Oh my God.
Yeah, but yeah, no, it was one of the most incredible experiences, and with a spirit I've never met. So yeah. That's
very
that's the
cool.
next retreat we
That's
go on.
beautiful.
We'll go to St. Augustine.
Wow.
I would love that.
Yeah.
You should probably quickly explain a spirit box, because if anyone heard you say that, they wouldn't know what that is.
Oh, okay. So it's it's a recorder that, well, not a recorder, kind of is, where it plays like radio frequencies, and spirits can basically use it to respond to you in the physical world. And I actually have mine right now. I'm getting it tuned up for our trip, but and it's amazing. And there actually are other spirit boxes that you can get on your phone. And there's one called the Hope Spirit Box that when Julie Starr, who's here watching, and I took this ITC class. It was amazing. And so he created, it's called the Hope Spirit Box. It's an app. You can use that and speak to spirits.
We have a practitioner, right, on Evolve Me, who has done some offerings, right, that people can watch the video.
And Nick, actually Nick is, we also went, that's the course we took with Nick too. So yeah, Nick, he's amazing, and he does spirit box readings. So anybody interested in doing those, it's an amazing reading. So yeah, he and I did some lives together, and people just went nuts for it. So definitely check out Nick on Evolve Me, for sure.
Oh, that's so
very
cool. Wow.
Absolutely.
I have a good story. It's not a happy story, but so I grew up really close to where Flight 93, the field in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
On 9/11. And I grew up really, really close to there. Like, I remember talking to my mother that day, and she was like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. And I said, Mom, they're not coming for you. You're going to be fine. Because she was alone, and she was newly widowed, and it was like she was freaking out, right? And then, of course, wouldn't you know, half an hour away is where that plane landed, and it was just like, whatever. Anyway, so they put up a whole beautiful memorial, amazing memorial up there. And when I went back to visit one time, I was like, I want to go and I want to see what I feel. So I go there and I'm not feeling anything, like nothing, right? Because you can't go on the actual field where the plane actually came down. And I was like, I wasn't feeling anything at all. And what I learned was, after the fact, I learned that when there's lots of energy of, the survivors or the family and all those, everybody that has traipsed through, it kind of diminishes the energy, of the deceased ones, right? However, so I let it go that day because I was with family and I didn't want to get into it. But then I went back again and I thought, you know what? I'm just going to sit here and going to meditate. So I told them to go sit in the car, right? And I sat there and I meditated and I started getting messages. I started hearing from several people that were on the plane. And I came to find out that, and this hopefully will bring comfort to people. Almost all, if not all, the people on that plane were already deceased before the plane hit the ground. So that was the one thing that I learned from that. And that actually brought me a lot of comfort because, it was a plane full of people and their loved ones, of course I would never reach out to the loved ones. I would, I respect that boundary, because that's not cool. If somebody reach out, if they decide they want to go see a medium, they'll be directed to me if that's the case,
Right.
but it was really an interesting, like, it was interesting for me to learn that, sometimes. And then I came to find out from a lot of other mediums that work in like Scotland and the fields of where all of the battles took place over there. A lot of times people go there and sometimes you can feel the spirits there, but sometimes you can't. And it's because there's a lot of like live people energy that's there. So I thought that was just kind of fascinating.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Really interesting, right?
Wow. What an
Crazy.
incredible- Yeah, the energy on that must have been so powerful. Wow.
Oh, it was. And I think that the first time I went, I was blocking it, because it was extraordinarily overwhelming, obviously, we all lived through that. Right. So it was really overwhelming. And I feel like that my guides may have been sort of protecting me a little bit from that, because it was, if I had opened myself, if I had knowingly been completely open, I think it would have been like pretty.
That's what I was feeling for you, Lori. I was feeling that your bubble, it's almost like it's instinctual. It's like it just goes, around you. And that's what I was feeling when you were telling the story. I was like, I think her unconsciousness, her guides, all of that was protecting you. And we have that, and they're instinctual too. They're a part of us.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? And that's that leads to another thing of trusting our spirit guides. They have our best interests at heart, right? So, I felt that, and I feel that now in looking back at the whole situation. So kind of interesting, huh?
Yeah.
Very cool. That's very cool. I can imagine how I'm pretty sure I would be dizzy on the ground.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was actually
Overwhelmed.
I had to sit down.
I'm like, whew,
Yeah.
man, do you guys feel that?
Yeah. Nobody else gets it.
Yeah.
They don't.
No.
Yeah.
I have a fun story. It's not I have a ton of them, but this one was actually pretty funny. We had a German exchange student, and after she left us, her family invited our family to go stay with them. So our family made the trek to Germany, and they live in this old house where their grandparents built it, I think. Two of my kids can speak German. I cannot. My husband cannot. My youngest cannot. And my two that can were just learning, but they're pretty good enough to be dangerous. So we were given this room upstairs, and it's hard to describe, but there's a bed here that my husband and I slept in. And then there was an open wall. So there was a separation, but there's this open space where you walk around, and then there was a bed where my daughter slept. So it was like one big room, but it had a half separator wall. So we couldn't see her. But so we had gone to bed, and there's this big window open to the backyard. And I was sleeping, and I heard German. And I was like, I woke up, and it was right above me. And I was like, what the heck? And I stood up, and I looked out the window, and there's a street lamp over there. And I was looking oh gosh, maybe the family is out back by the picnic table, or the neighbors are up. And I was looking, and I'm like, that's weird. There's nobody. And I thought, maybe they're awake downstairs, and I just overheard them. But I it was dead still. I could not hear anything. And I was like, whatever. So I laid back down and went to sleep. And my husband's dead asleep. Go back to sleep, and I hear it again, and I open my eyes, and it was so close. And I looked outside really quick, and I was like, what is going on? It was driving me crazy, and I couldn't figure it out. And I was like, I must have gone back into the same dream or something. I wasn't connecting anything.
Right.
And I laid back down. Of course, everybody's sleeping. And then I heard it louder, and it was it was right above me. And I sat up, and I was like, and I heard it for a second, and I was like, oh my God. And I thought, my daughter, who was 16 or 17, I'm like, it is 3 a.m. and you're on your phone. Are you kidding me? And I get out of bed, and I'm like, Emma, are you kidding me? I walk around this corner, and she is dead asleep. Her phone is in the middle of the floor on the ground. Nothing. And I was standing there going, what's happening? And then I realized, oh, it was right above my head. It's people. It's people from the house. Like, I didn't put it together. And I went and I sat on my bed, and by my husband, who's still sleeping, does not wake up for anything. And I said, I can't understand German. Like, if you want to speak to me, you have to speak in English. Otherwise, I can't understand you. And I just laid back down, and I didn't get woke up again. So it was like, wow. But I know they were talking about me. You know, when I figured that out, I was like, you know, like then everything comes to you where you're like, oh, because once you hear them, once a connection is made, like all the information is there. It's just a matter of you connecting and getting it. So like once I realized, oh, it was spirit, and I knew they were standing above me and they were talking about me and why we were there and what's she doing here, you know what I mean? And like the visiting family. So they were just interested in us. But it was the funniest thing because I got up and I started yelling at my daughter, who thank God did not wake up. But I was like, I seriously was like, are you kidding me? We're in Germany at this family's house. We have to get up early in the morning and you're on your not on your phone. Yeah, it was really weird.
But you know that kind of that's interesting because you think about why spirits come to you, right? Because one, they know that you can see them and feel them, so that's why they're attracted, regardless of whether they can speak your language.
Well, and that's my other thing because I was thinking like spirit can speak any language really.
I know. Can you translate? Maybe get a translator.
I don't think they weren't talking to me. Yeah. They were talking to each other.
You. Yeah.
So, right. So if they wanted me to understand, I would have gotten pictures. I would have gotten some sort of symbols, but I don't think they were interested in talking to me. They were just talking about me.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
But I mean, that's what I think. Cause I was like, I would be able to understand if they wanted me to, you know, but it was just fascinating. Fascinating.
Wow. I love that.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're last there, Derek.
Well, I guess mine, a little spiritual experience. It happened not too long ago. I was actually driving home from work, and somehow I like went into like almost like a waking shamanic journey, and I started like visualizing like a lot of these past lives I had where I did some kind of messed up shit, and I was feeling the pain that I caused in these lives. And it went from all these different lives, from like a Confucius style Asian guy to like this pirate to like all these guys that and a woman too that just did some hurtful things to people, and I was feeling the pain that I caused these people. And it jumped from that into this baby bear cub, which bear is one of my power animals, one of my guiding spirits. And he guides me into this honeycomb, and he's showing me the universe in this like honeycomb. And he's showing me the stars, and this one star falls out of the sky. And he says, even on the grandest scale, mistakes are made. You know, like, don't be so hard on yourself. Mistakes are made on the like grandest scale. And I was like, okay, I understand. I get it. Thank you. And I come out of the honeycomb, and like Mama Bear is there, and she opens her mouth wide, and I see her teeth, and I just hear purge, release it. And in the middle of going like 75 down the freeway, I'm like in tears, like getting out all this like junk and shit from the past. And it was absolutely beautiful. I highly don't recommend trying to have a shamanic journey while driving.
I was just gonna say.
But
I was going to say that. I was like,
it was cool. It was extremely cool, and it was so powerful and so cleansing, and so. It was a complete accident because I didn't try to. I mean, I obviously needed it because, you know, I am very hard on myself in that sense. You know, it's like I can do better than that. Like why'd I get angry? You know, and just that, like, the mistakes are made on the grandest scale, and that's for everybody, man. Needs to remember that. we're in this experience to be imperfect, to know our imperfections, to know all our hurts and all that. And tell yourself that it's okay. It's completely, utterly okay. That's why we're here. That's why we're in this crazy school of Earth. And it's beautiful.
That sounds
It was cool
amazing.
shit. That was.
And that's like so nice because with those things that we all experience, like and Derek, like with the story you just said, like you can help guide people through their own mistakes, their own, like, that's what's so great about this, is because we get all these experiences and like releases and everything that we go through, Spirit uses to help us teach others, and or
Absolutely.
help us teach and help others make it through, their stuff. It's just incredible. Like when all the pieces fall together, it's just blows my mind.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I had a teacher once, Rita Berkowitz, who was one of my first teachers, and she said that the people who are wounded, she said at some point, the people who went through a lot of trials are really, they open up. It's like they've been through so much, and that it's like through the pain comes the opening. And she said some of the best mediums, spiritual practitioners she's seen have been people who have been wounded, and then it's through that process where it happened. It really, that resonated with me deeply. And she said also that all the experiences we have in life add to it, like make us better mediums, because the more open we are to all sorts of different types of people, and the more all that stuff adds to us, to the people that are going to come to us. Right? We all know, right? That's some characters, and that and it's because we have such open experiences ourselves.
Absolutely.
I totally agree.
I don't think
that.
I've ever met a healer or a medium that didn't have some significant pain and traumas in their life, and that is because you take from those experiences, and you help others with that. And I don't know that I've even met one that doesn't have some sort of background, right?
Neither have I. I haven't either.
Yeah.
But maybe the key is we all have woundings, right? Now here's the key: those of us who are doing the spiritual work are people who are talking about our woundings, who are open to it, and we are on the journey. And that really, is, maybe that's it, Dan. Maybe it's that very thing.
Yeah, I think so. I always thought, okay, well, how could you be a successful, let's say, how could you be a successful physician, if you didn't understand the human body? So, the same thing is how can you be a successful
Healing
channel if you haven't felt the pain? So, right? And
exactly.
so and those who utilize their pain and transmute it into something positive for other people are the ones that have truly won over their traumas, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
and it's funny because I see a lot of people going to some sort of spiritual practice more so than years before. Like when we were growing up, that was just, there's still a stigma attached to metaphysical work, but, one, Evolve Me is going to change that. But two, people are now starting, right? People are now starting to see that it is part of who we are. And right, and to be able to utilize that tool, just like your other instincts are, is really how you should be living naturally. So I don't know. I think I'm excited for the next generation. We all talk about how we have children that are intuitive, right? And my son, he has no fear, never was scared of the dark. He would be sitting in his room in the dark, and I'm sitting with the lady that passed away next door, and he'd be fine with it. He'd be like, oh yeah, that's just the lady that lived, and I'm like, oh, okay. All right. And no fear. He'll come home and he'll be like, Mom, you have a headache. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, because he's so empathic. Like,
Yes, you
like
apologize.
stuff like
I'm
that. Like, it's
sorry.
just normal. It's just a thing. Like, if I ever said that to my mother, she'd be like, you're crazy,
Yeah.
But yeah.
But that's the thing. And you know what? I think as we go further on in this journey, like, because I turned 58 yesterday. But you know what? It's like exactly what you're saying. Like, my daughter is not scared of this work at all. And I think back, I promise I'm getting to a point with this, but I think back to where I was. What is she now? 26. So I think back to where I was when I was 26. I was not even close to ready for this, right? But she's like raring to go, and she's like just she's following her bliss, so to speak, right? But then I started thinking, and this is how I kind of came to terms with all of this myself, was that, I've had a really interesting, weird life. I mean, I started out as a musician. I was Catholic, and then I went and I was a born again Christian for a while, and then I did this, and then I did that, and I did this, and I did that, blah blah blah, all that stuff. And I remember, and this wasn't too long ago, this was a couple of years ago, I remember thinking to myself, like, why am I a medium now? Like, where, how did I get here? And I started thinking, we are the sum total of all of our experiences, good and bad.
Yes.
Like that music I was a musician. I was a traveling musician. I now chant and I create chants, so if I hadn't done that, if I hadn't performed 350 shows a year for 3 years, I wouldn't be able to be this outgoing on this show.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, we are the sum total of all of our experiences, and that's good and that's bad.
Yeah.
And that was my key
Oh my
for
gosh.
that.
Gloria, I have to tell you, when I was always told I couldn't sing as a kid, and my mom with her soap operas, I know it's a bad story, but it's typical of our generation, that I was interrupting my mom because I was singing Winnie the Pooh, and she's watching General Hospital.
Oh,
And
I
she's
love
like,
General Hospital. But go ahead.
yeah, she says, will you shut up? You can't sing. This is, she was a young mom, but General Hospital was on. I need to understand that. But anyway, so I get into this shamanic circle, and somewhere along the line, we're doing an exercise with singing, and I was real nervous and didn't want to do it. And I start to do, the toning, and my friend Jonathan was sitting next to me, and it came out of nowhere. These sounds came out of nowhere, and they freaked me out because I was like, me, and so my friends were like, keep doing it and practicing it. So I started to do it more. But what happened was, when I finally really allowed it, I got a sore throat, right? And because it was coming so strong, this is what happened. I'm in a spiritualist church in Greenwich, and suddenly this spirit shows up, this really heavy set woman dressed like baubles and beautiful, and it's an opera singer, and she says, I've come in to teach you how to use your voice, and she says, and I've come in to teach you to live large. And it was exactly that. She just and I had control, she taught me control. I have no background, no nothing, but when I channel, she's given me, the strength.
Well, what's funny is that I was just thinking on the International Day of Happiness retreat that we did. You sang that little song, and I was like, oh, she's got a really good voice.
Right? And
Your mother be proud.
I know. And I've had a session with Lori, and it's so funny. Like, and I've even referred her, and everybody said, like, oh my gosh, when she does it, it's the vibration that you feel. Yeah. Like, when she does that, it is, you're, I can't even describe to you how you can feel it on all cells. It is an amazing feeling, and the way when you channel it, it's extremely powerful. And yeah.
I think she should do that at some point on one of these.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Will do. If Jonathan's watching, he's going to go, just tell me ahead of time because I'm going to mute it. He tells me that.
Well, Jonathan, I happen to love her.
Yeah, quit it, Jonathan.
I know. That's mean.
That
He didn't
would
say it or
be
anything,
extraordinary.
but
He loves me.
I would love to do that. That would be extraordinary. I would love to experience that.
yes,
Yeah.
I love
Ooh, I got
that.
chills
Oh,
on
and
that one.
Yeah,
and
so, you know, we
Kelly's in
get
that.
to the guides, right? Don't you love these guides? These guides are absolutely amazing. And guys, you can have more than one guide. I need to say that you can have guides that come in and do other things for you. And all of us can talk to you about how guides have really impacted us on our journeys.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Beautiful thing too. I love about guides. You know, we hear about angels. They're so nice. We hear angelic voices. Some guides aren't like that. I mean, some guides they tell you in ways that you need to hear. If you need to hear that you're fucking up, they're gonna tell you that.
Oh yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I've done those readings. Like, hey, this is not coming from me, but your guide's telling you you're being a dickhead right now, or you're whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
yeah.
not for me. That's just the way you need to hear it.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
hungover.
I love that. I absolutely love that because, like you say, there's so many of them, and some stick with us throughout our entire lives. Some just come and go when we need them the most.
Yeah.
But they give us information when we need it in ways that we need it, and it's not just right here. Sometimes it's through signs from the outside. It's all about listening and paying attention.
Yeah.
Paying attention.
But you remember the first one? First one, I was in the shower and Sasquatch showed up. Right? That's funny. You know.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
Right? But you know what Sasquatch said to me?
What?
Sasquatch said, you know, because I had a really rough childhood, and Sasquatch said to me, I was always with you. And, you know, and there was something about, like, I was protected, and I couldn't have made it through my childhood if I wasn't protected. And I was like, so it was, you know, so I always am thankful to Sasquatch. I know Sasquatch, you know, isn't still there, but sort of at a distance. And I know we all, when we have that moment where you're like, first of all, in the shower, you know, right?
Yeah, I know. And also, from what I hear, Sasquatches need, or I don't know how you call them, but they need showers. I hear they're not the
Is that really true?
they're not the best smelling.
That is so funny.
Quite pungent. Yes, yes.
Maybe he
Okay,
was
guys, I'd love to know more about that.
No, you know what's funny is, and Derek knows this. I have quite a few, and I talk to them constantly, and always have as a child, and I thought that was normal. But you know, I have this one guy that came in recently. I think I told you, Lori, that, you know, if you know me, I'm not very pink and all that stuff, right? I had this, what do they call it? What is that horse with wings?
Pegasus?
Pegasus, yes. A Pegasus came in with these beautiful rainbow wings, and I was like, you know, and this was a time when I was like working constantly, right? And apparently he came in just for a little time to show me fun. But like, how interesting how your guides will come in. Not that he could very well be Pegasus, but they come in how we want to see them, right? And you know, sometimes they come in as light. For me, I typically know what they look like, and that, you know, what they sound like, too. But there's some that just come in as light. So they're all different, and you know, and they come at various times, or, you know, as we were saying, that, you know, they you do have some. I had one, and I used to just look up their names, and they don't typically even have names. They, you know, so I had this wolf come in, and I don't know if you remember this, Derek. I had this wolf come in early on, and he's, you know, obviously my spirit animal. And I asked him what his name was, and he said Rolf. And I was like, oh, that's ridiculous. And I like, because it sounds like Rolf. And I Googled it, and it means wise wolf.
Oh.
I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
You know, in my classes, when I teach stuff about like our spirit guides and our spirit team and that sort of thing, I try to explain to my students about how we kind of need to treat our spirit guides like they're friends, you know? I mean, I will be the first to say that, like, I've gotten into arguments with my spirit guides, you know? And it's like, that's how they want it to be, you know. I mean, my first experience with my spirit guides was I was meditating many years ago, and I saw like lava lamp, you know, like the blobs in the lava lamp, and I was like, oh, and somebody told me, oh, but those are your spirit guides or whatever. So I said to them, what do you want me to call you? Like, what is your name? Tim, Emily, Joe, whatever, you know. And they go, just call us the blobs. So I was like, all right then, you know, I mean, it's, you can create whatever you want out of that.
Yeah, it's about the connection and why they're here,
have,
right?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a certain way, you know.
Right.
Love that.
Yeah.
Which one of you told me the story about thinking you heard your children speak out? Didn't one of you tell me a story about having to check on one of your kids because you heard someone calling? I thought one of you guys told me a story about that, but I'm sure you guys as parents have felt called to go check on your kids. Have you had that?
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh, absolutely.
One night I woke up and I had to go get a thing of water, and our bedroom door is here, and so my daughter's bedroom door was there, and I walked out of the door and I saw a shadow, and I went, oh, excuse me, and then I kept walking past, and I went, did I really just say excuse me to a spirit? You know? And I was like,
Pardon me.
wait a minute, that spirit was coming out of my kid's room.
Oh,
But it was all good. I mean, there wasn't anything bad about it, but it was like, you know, you start kind of thinking about that. You got to, you know, but she was, I believe, well, at least for me, my experiences is that she had so much special protection around her, you know, from so many people. And I just was really lucky that way. So,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Hey, Conscious Altruism says my takeaway of the night: Sasquatch needs to shower.
that you should. That is accurate. That is actually the gist of this entire thing.
If that's all you need to learn today,
Yeah.
you did good.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you learned something.
Yeah. And I just
Also
love,
tell
I do want to give a shout out to my father-in-law. His name is also Ben Filippelli, so it's not my husband. He's saying he's the sweetest. I gave him a stone, and look, I'll even show you. I have one. I have it right here, Papa. This is, oh my gosh, Agni Manatite. And it's a lava stone from Indonesia, and they're very powerful. They're just like the oh my gosh, Moldavite. I've only seen it in Sedona, and when we went to Sedona one year, I got both my in-laws these stones because they're very protective and beautiful. And I even have my Agni oh my gosh, Moldavite here. I always wear it, but yeah. So
yeah, he wrote something on the thing.
Yeah. He was saying he's so supportive. Well, talking about supportive families, there's a sweet,
so nice,
sweet man.
And did you guys see what Cheller wrote? My 8-year-old son told me last night that our dog died over a year ago, came with us on our move, and is in the new house.
Oh my God.
Isn't that amazing?
So cool.
Oh, I love that. So he must talk to him.
Our animals stay with us. They stay with us, or they come back to us.
Absolutely.
It's incredible.
Oh yeah.
The only thing I hope with those animals, we have a dog that always sits behind me in the kitchen. So when I move, I almost trip over her. And she's older, so I'm gonna have to have a conversation with her before she goes and say, honey, just don't stand there when you're gone, because I really won't see you.
Yeah, don't make me look dumb falling down over nothing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I have to tell you the craziest story. So I've known for a long time that my dog Augie, and I love my Anna, but he is very needs attention guy, and every day, like almost, I would say at least once a week while I'm in meditation, I get this very strong visual of him just sticking his face right in my face, and like he's wants my attention. He seems to come into, I think I've been read, over a span of a couple of months, at least 4 times did they say, and there's a little dog that's staring at you lovingly. I'm like, yes, I know. He comes into every reading. He's always in my business. And in fact, he's sitting right here. He's the one that when we're on calls, he sticks his little face into the camera and stares at you guys. So, so animals are very intuitive.
I agree.
Sounds like my Trujo.
Oh yes,
Sounds like my
and
Trujo, my
yeah,
Mastiff.
Derek's dog.
Whenever I do readings, meditations, classes, it has to be right here. I've had to apologize, like, forgive me for the snoring. It's my sleeping Mastiff that's right here. Yeah. Absolutely.
That wasn't you sleeping? Oh,
I know. Well, he's closing his eyes, giving
There's
reading. You never know.
There's a question, guys. Conscious Altruism asks, this question is from a friend listening in. Do you have any tips for connecting with our spirit guides?
meditate.
Yeah.
You know, I years ago, Frank Wesselman, I think it was actually in the Sandra Ingerman book. You know, most of us have that old book, the Awakening to the Spirit World, right? It's been
Great
around.
book, yeah.
Yes, yeah. And I think it's in this one. There's a great where he talks about creating your own special place. You know, that you do your own journeys and you create your own special garden. He calls it a garden. I read this years ago, and I still remember this. And you create your own garden and build it and make it yours. And then it's easier this way because you build it, you picture, or you can even choose a place where is special to you. And then this is his technique. And then invite the, you know, like you go in there and you say, is there anyone that like to speak to me, or bring in a guide? And that is like, I learned that when I was first starting. Like he was the first shamanic workshop I ever went to. And it's always stuck with me. And I found it such an easy technique to use when I was first starting out.
Yeah, I do something very similar. Mine's a tree, a giant tree, which the middle world, which goes to the upper and lower, and a beautiful, beautiful journeys from there. So yes, it's a great technique.
Yeah.
You know.
Absolutely. And yeah, and just as Lori said, too, is that, you know, opening yourself up. It's not like they're not wanting to talk to you. It's about you opening up to that communication. So clearing your space, clearing your mind, and asking for that connection. You know, my journey with my spirit guides was very much about needing to know who they were. I needed to feel them. I needed to see them. And that's what I would do for months, actually, because I wanted to get to know them. And I wanted to, I wanted to name them. You don't have to. It was something in my connection because I feel like it's my spirit family. And I mean, I've been talking to them all my life, so why not? And it was just a series of, releasing all the holds I had around it, all the conditioning I had around it, and and saying, I'm ready, show me how. And I did that every day until I was ready, until I was actually ready to truly accept it. Yeah.
I would add to that as well. Pay attention to your dreams. Ever since I was a child, I'm very visual. I see a lot of things. I see them as pictures. I see them as old pictures or little videos. But I've always had very telling dreams. And when you have that dream about that person and you feel very comfortable, but you don't quite know them, but you know them, that's a good indicator. If you really keep a dream journal, write down your dreams. I'm huge on dreams. I have dream journals from way back. And if you do that and you kind of read back on them, you'll see that you may have like some repeat things with certain visuals of people, and that might be a key to you as well.
And that's good. It also helps you process your trauma too in those dreams.
Right.
But this is a real Spirit is telling me right now, guys, that someone out there wants to ask about how do you do this whole medium thing, and I'm supposed to the development circles, and so that people can understand what they are. I feel like I'm supposed to bring that into the circle.
I love that.
Great.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, and if you are interested in, trying to learn and tap into your abilities, we do have courses and workshops and mentorships on the Evolve Me site. So, you know, we're always happy to help and you know, for new, you know, new people coming in and trying to tap in, it is difficult. You don't know where to begin. And you know, it does start, and people hate to hear it too. It does start with meditation, and I will tell you, being somebody that was diagnosed with ADHD, could not sit down for anything. If I can meditate now for 2 hours a day, anybody can meditate for 5 minutes. So, you know,
just great.
yeah, and just learning.
But to let people off a little hook, drumming was my way in. And drumming was my way in. And that's how, because I couldn't, you know, meditate. I couldn't. And so, but I could keep the rhythm.
Drumming is a meditation.
Yeah, because you're.
Yeah.
It triggers the state of brainwave states.
Yeah. I would meditate when I run. I was a distance runner for years, and I still try to. I'm not as much, but I would meditate when I ran. I wouldn't listen to music. I would just get in a zone and go there. And there's so many ways. It's not just sitting down, you know, zoning out. Like, you can do it while you're gardening. You can do it while you're walking, or
definitely not driving,
anything.
As Derek will tell
Not
you.
driving.
Yeah.
Actually, I'd like to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. But you know, I back to, you know, like my first development circle was at a spiritualist church, because it was before, you know, the internet was really what it is now. So there's lots of places you guys can go Evolve Me, and all it means, to make it simple, is you're going to be around people just like yourself who are just beginning, and the teacher is going to have exercises to assist you. You don't have to really get it right. It's about the experience and the practice, and that's the fun of it. And then, you know, my wife took a development circle here at the house that I was teaching, and she got the biggest kick out of it. She loved it. And so, you know, and so she'll say, if she can do it, anyone can do it. So it's a lot of fun.
Well, you know, my oh, go ahead, Derek. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, that's the thing about meditation. There's so many different kinds. You know, there's beautiful guided meditations. You know, if your mind won't be quiet, there's beautiful guided meditations and shamanic journeys. Lori, I mean, there's a guided shamanic journey is so powerful, and you're using your mind. You know, you don't have to quiet it. You're actually using it, and they're life-changing, they're transformative, they're healing. So the whole, you know, quieting your mind, it's great for some people, but if you can't, it's okay. There's other ways, there's other avenues.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And hey guys, I see some people that are having to sign off, and we're almost ready to wrap it up. I just wanted to mention we have some workshops and classes, and if I don't remember them all, guys, help me out. April 26th starts Nikki's Starseed School. That is with children who, it's Children's Intuitive Development Program.
Yeah.
So if you have kids, like we've been talking about, that, you know, their intuition is kicking in and you want to keep that open, look for Nikki's Starseed School on Evolve Me, April 26th. April 29th, we have Angelia's Spiritual Hygiene. That's about reconnecting back to yourself. That sounds really interesting. That is April 29th. And in May, we have mental wellness workshops. There's 3 of those, Mind, Body, and Soul. May 16th is Mind. May 23rd starts Body. And May 30th starts Soul.
Yeah.
And coming up actually in June is Annette Green's Sophia Code B, but you'll hear more about that later.
Yeah, when Annette can come back on.
Yeah, when Annette can come back on and talk about it. Oh, I'm so mad she couldn't get that on.
I know.
And this Thursday, we'll be starting the queer spiritual group, and guys, it's free, and it is for people who are you know, gay, lesbian, bisexual, and all the other initials, which are I'm sorry, just queer, which is a word I actually had a hard time with, but anyway,
okay.
other generation, but it's a place for you to really come in and find support. It's a tough time. We're really going through some stuff right now. So yeah, come on in, and you'll find it under groups. It's free. You still have to purchase it, but it's free.
Yeah.
I love that you're doing that, Lori.
I love
That's
it.
so
And also,
important.
Lori's group partner, Sam, is here too. So she's just in the chat, but yeah, I have gotten a very unique glimpse at the making of this group, and these two, these two people are just amazing, and any group that they're a part of is going to be awesome. So definitely come check that out. For sure.
Yeah. And that reminds me that a shout out to this intergenerational that Evolve Me is doing, that we have practitioners from all the generations. And I wanted to say that earlier, that I have been so struck by that, and by learning from all the generations. And that's why being with Sam and this has been just incredible for me. And I just have enjoyed that so much.
Yeah. And just so you know, I'm from this current generation. Just so you guys
Hey, Derek, I know you can't read the messages, but Star Crossing Spirituality My Way says, Derek, I got my mom's Sacred Oracle deck, and I instantly thought of you when I shuffled it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, that's Kayla. Yeah. Yeah, Kayla is a part of the community as well. So hi, Kayla. Yeah.
I got you, Kayla. I knew it was sacred.
I wanted to tell you guys about an upcoming workshop that I have coming up, May 31st. It's called Manifestation Madness.
Ooh.
And we're going to just talk about everything manifestation and how to manifest your best life. And I like to throw in the added component of spirituality. So that will be on Wednesday night, May 31st.
And can I just add to that?
Absolutely.
That
And all of
Lori
those classes
literally wrote the book on it.
Evolve Me.
Oh, sorry. Oh. So yeah, Lori.
I did.
Yeah, she actually
and
wrote
show your book,
a book
show your
about
book.
manifestation. So
Woo-hoo!
yeah, if you want to hear from an expert, that's the lady you go to. So yeah, definitely check out her
Now you
workshop
have
on
to
the
do
31st.
this.
Yeah.
Fiona, you have to do this.
Wait, what's that?
Because she's above you.
Oh.
She's above you.
Oh,
That's
wait.
not funny.
No, I have to go like this.
But I want to know.
And then who's
That's
by
hilarious.
my side?
In
Right here.
LA.
I'm gonna poke.
That is so
Okay,
awesome.
sorry.
Yeah, we're not always
Oh
the
my
most
gosh.
mature. No, I'm just joking.
Oh, Jonathan asked, do any of you ever get to a point where you just want to shut it off? I hear that a lot. And actually, for myself,
Take a break.
there was one time when I was just mad and I actually just refused everything. And it was after my mom died. I was just angry. And I didn't actually know you could do that. And I did. And it was honestly the most lonely I've ever felt in my life, because I've never been separated from spirit. And then I did it to myself. And then I just freaked out because I had never felt that lonely. I've never felt that. Yeah. And I just like prayed and I was like, okay, I did not mean that. I was wrong. But other than that.
Well, I think it's important to take breaks. I mean, you can't be 100% on. It's like, it's like being on a drug all the time. You have to take breaks and self-care.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. And for me, it's like, besides that one time in my life, which I'll never, ever do again, like even no matter
Well.
how upset I've ever been. For me, it's like, and now I'm not, you know what I mean? It's just, you don't necessarily shut it off.
Right.
It's just like anything else. Right now I'm taking care of a baby. You know, you're not talking to spirit, like you're busy, you're doing something. And right now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for me, that's kind of how that works. I
Well,
just
creating the boundaries.
right.
you know?
When I'm doing it, I'm doing it. And when I'm not, I'm not.
But
Yeah.
to differentiate, so like spirit is always with me. I'm always a part of spirit.
Right.
So
Yes.
that is
Absolutely.
important.
Yes.
That like on a cellular
Yeah.
level,
Yeah.
that's how deep that is for me. Now there are moments my brother passed away 6 months ago, that I went through a month where I just yeah, I couldn't, I was so on overload, and that was giving myself permission to, stay in my pajamas all day and not do any work and go a couple of weeks with, I'm just not doing it because I have to take care of me. And that is it. You're right. It's self-care. It's different levels. But for me, always remembering that even when you're not working, it's right here. It's in your breath. It's a part of you.
Yeah. It's
It's
never
your
not
soul.
being.
Yeah.
It's your soul. It's who you are.
Right.
You
And
know?
those things, like when you're talking about that, Lori, to me, I call those earth things. When I have to do earth things, and like life gets busy, and I'm also a professional photographer, and like I'll be doing photo stuff and whatever, and I'm not thinking about spirit at all.
Right.
I'm not doing readings. I'm doing my earth things.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm here in the physical world and not stepping aside to the spiritual one.
Yeah. And we're
But that's the
sometimes we have
beautiful
to do
part.
that. Yeah.
Spirit lives through us all the time, even when we think we're doing our human things.
Yeah.
We'll be having these interactions with people, and spirit is radiating through us. We think we're just doing our thing, having a conversation with somebody, and we may drop a word to somebody, and that energy we drop, or that word, touches that person beyond belief, and we're just doing our thing. So, like Lori said, spirit is with us always.
Right.
We can quiet it down, but it's who we are.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's funny. I was just. Go ahead.
Oh no, you go.
No, I was just thinking back to when my mother passed away, and she passed away. I guess it was like 6:00 at night, right? And I didn't hear from her as a medium. Okay, I didn't hear from her for 36 hours, and during those 36 hours, I were the most grueling of like my life, because I was like second guessing everything. And, because, my humanness was grieving my mother. And, but I was like, I cannot even believe that she has we were super close. Right. Yeah. And like, almost like we're the same person. I mean, we are so much alike. Right. And I remember thinking, she has the audacity to like leave me here and not be talking to me. Oh my God. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And then one morning, my sister was driving down the driveway, and we both saw a deer, and it was like extraordinary. It was like weird. Like it wasn't, it had no reason to be there at that moment or whatever it was. And we both just knew, that it was Mom. And then right after that, it was like, she hasn't left. She's always right here.
Oh, I love
and
that.
it's
so
like,
cool.
But it's so interesting because you do have those moments of, oh my God, what is happening? Like, I can't even believe I was so mad. I was mad at my guides. I was mad at my mom. I was just mad. Like, how could you not come to me? Like, I was making it about me.
Yeah.
Really?
That's exactly what I did. I was like, I'm a fucking medium.
Yeah.
And you don't talk to me.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But she had, with her passing and just after, which is a great story. But after that, I think I expected more.
Yeah.
And then it was about me. And then later I realized, like, who do I think I am? Like,
yes.
Give her a minute.
Yeah, exactly.
Not
Right.
going anywhere. You know what I mean? I have a relationship with spirit where I know they're always here, like a whisper,
Yeah.
and I just had to like get back to that. Get back to that. And then
And
it was
next week we can tell a story about some of that stuff.
Yeah,
let's do.
absolutely. That would be great. And I would talk about, for me, I have my mother. Same as that's an interesting story there, Lori, because that's very much how I was with my mother. And now, just like you said, one of my most, and it's funny, is when Derek and I went to school, people loved to do mediumship with me because my mother was like my biggest cheerleader. And, and she's my loudest guide. She's like, oh, Theon, go tell, because she has that rest. And like, go tell that girl that she's blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh my God. And sometimes
I love it when you do your mom accent.
But it's funny is like, I'm, cause I'm having these, we're always very animated when we talk. And so I'm like, I look like a crazy person when I'm reading somebody sometimes. Cause I'm like, yeah.
I can totally relate to that.
Oh yeah. Right. Cause, it gets really strong, but But yeah, that just wanted to add how funny that was. That the pain made you so upset, right? That she, and but it's great to know that they're always with us, regardless of whether you're a medium or not. They're always going to be there. It's just you opening to them.
Yeah,
Right.
So
Absolutely. And I think that's what they don't really realize, or they get worried or something. And I'm like, they're not. Where else would they be?
Yeah.
Where else would they be but with
And
you?
next week we'll tell you our craziest story of where they appeared.
Oh yes, I love that.
Yeah.
I won't be here next week, but I will be here all the weeks after.
Okay.
Well, awesome. Yay.
Okay.
This was amazing. Just this first one, oh my gosh. It could have gone a little bit better if Annette was pictured here too. But I love spending time with you guys.
And the beginning was a little rocky.
Yeah.
But
now we got it. We got it down. We're gonna be doing good. So yeah.
Absolutely.
much love to everybody.
Yeah, and thank you everyone for being with us.
Yes, absolutely.
And go check out Evolve Me and find out all of those amazing classes and workshops. You just sign on and check out all the practitioners. All you have to do is search or scroll through their blogs. What else, Dan?
Absolutely.
Blogs
And
and,
if you really are interested in connecting with one of us, message us on the site. You can a lot of time we have people coming in and asking questions, and I will just direct them to any one of the practitioners. So if you want to get a reading or a mentorship from any one of us, definitely come message us on the site. You see our names here except for mine. But it's
Because
fine.
you are Evolve Me.
Yes, I am Evolve Me. And but yeah, so definitely be a part of our community with us. We have a great community, a great bunch of people that are all always here to help each other, you and everyone else. And so definitely come back and see us Monday, if anything else.
Yeah, and it's free.
Monday.
Remember, it's free
Yes.
to sign up and check out all of those. Check out all of the practitioners, all of the workshops. It's free to get on there to go look.
And most practitioners are offering like a 15-minute consultation. Most, and then from that you can get a service. You can purchase a service if you really want a reading or a healing or all those things.
Yeah.
And many have free offerings as well.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And then
find
May Mental
who
Health Month is going to be
Bible.
all free. Oh, sorry.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
all free workshops. So, these are going to be amazing about mind, body, and soul. We're going to do shamanic journeying, readings, all of these different things in May Mental Health Month. So definitely, once we send that out, definitely sign up and be a part of that. Sorry there, Lori.
No, I was just going to say that on Evolve Me, it gives you the opportunity to like find somebody you vibe with. I mean, not everybody is for everybody else,
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes the energies just are like this.
Yeah.
Find somebody and this is what I wanted to say before. If you're looking to develop your spiritual gifts, find a teacher.
Yes,
Ask your guides
Yeah.
to bring the teacher to you.
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And find somebody you vibe with. The one thing I love about this community is that no one is better than anybody else. There's, of course there's going to be a competition in anything you do, but I want to say that I've never had a situation on Evolve Me where it felt like, no, that person is mine, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Just go with who
Yeah.
you vibe with.
And I will
Find a
tell-
teacher.
Absolutely. And I will tell you that if you ask any one of the practitioners, point me somewhere that I need to go, I would say all of us would point you to the right place, not just them. So, that is a true community, is that, when we know what's best for you, we're going to show you. So,
Yeah. I'm sure we'll bring in some of the tarot card people and some of the other things. So you guys will have a chance to see all the different services.
Oh yes, and then our
Absolutely.
energy healers, all of that. There's just so much. So, thank you.
Hey, you guys want me to pull a card for the end?
Yes.
A message
Sure.
for the collective?
Yes.
Collective message. Let's do it.
Yeah.
How about it? How about
Right
it?
before
And you know
Mercury
what?
retrograde. What do
I
we
know.
need?
Spirit was like, oh my gosh, This is one of
Do
my
they make a
this is
toilet card?
one of my
Okay, I'm
favorite
just
decks.
kidding.
It's the Sacred Forest deck. It's by Denise Lynn, and the card I pulled was the wood nymphs, right?
Oh,
And
wow.
it says beauty on there. Okay, so the message that I'm getting is that find the beauty in your life. There's always something to be grateful for. There's always a way to find something beautiful in your life. So
I love
that was what
Well,
I would
I'm
like
grateful
to leave.
for you guys and for you
Yeah.
at home
Grateful
too.
for you guys too.
Very, very much.
Grateful
I
for
love
you,
our
too.
community. I'm so excited.
Me too.
Love you guys.
Love you.
All right.
Thank
I look
you.
forward to seeing you all in the ethers next week.
Oh, absolutely. And this week at
Absolutely.
our
Next
practitioner
Monday.
meeting. But it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
and many times this week.
Monday.
Anyway.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a great
Bye. Have a great
That's it.
night.
Bye.